Hey everybody, thanks for stopping by the movie Hangout. Steven Spielberg is out. That's a topic of today's rant, and actually, it's kind of a review as well. But Variety has released information that Steven Spielberg, who directed the past Indiana Jones movies, I wish it was only three Indiana Jones films, but the last one, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, that was number four, unfortunately. Spielberg is out. The dude says goodbye. Harrison Ford says, see ya, sayonara, I've had enough. And director James Mangold is in talks to replace him. Me personally, I think that unfortunately Steven Spielberg drifted away from what made the original trilogy of Indiana Jones special, and that was it was a throwback to the old. I guess they were called like serial action flicks from like the 30s and 40s, but it was still somewhat grounded in reality, even though, the movies are a little bit silly, but they're so much fun. Uh, the fourth one, The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I mean, you had Shia LaBeouf. I don't know, is his name Shia or Shia? I never really tell. But anyway, Shia, Shia LaBeouf. The dude was swinging on vines with monkeys, and there's like aliens. And I don't know. It was just weird. I just couldn't get into it. Indiana Jones getting into a refrigerator and survives a nuclear blast. I'm just like, I can suspend disbelief, but just not that good. So anyway, Spielberg is out, and the topic of this variety is that. Um, After a long development process, Spielberg is handing the directing reins on Indiana Jones 5 to another filmmaker for the first time in the franchise's 39-year history. Sources say while the deal hasn't closed, the Ford versus Ferrari director James Mangold, which I'm excited about because that movie was pretty darn good, is in talks to take the job. Mangold has been put in the situation before when he took over the Wolverine franchise, 2017's Logan, which is, if you have not seen that movie, it is absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's by far the best superhero movie I've ever seen. Was a blockbuster, grossing $619 million globally. And you have to remember, I believe that movie was rated R as well. That was not a PG or PG-13 movie. And earning Mangold an Oscar nomination for adapted screenplay. Spielberg will remain as a hands-on producer on Indy 5, according to a source close to the filmmaker. The decision to leave the director's chair was entirely Spielberg's. I have a pretty good feeling that he was encouraged to leave, especially by the fans in the studio, but I'm sure he did give up the reins voluntarily, kind of, but he was definitely encouraged. In a desire to pass along Indy's whip to a new generation to bring their perspective to the story. Harrison Ford, meanwhile, is still in the project. Oh, man. Excuse me. This is what I don't understand about Harrison Ford. That guy, he's got to be close to 80 years old, which there are a lot of roles that an actor can play when they're 80 years old, but Indiana Jones is a physical character. I mean, he's like knocking guys out, and it doesn't matter what kind of shape you're in when you're 80 years old or 75 years old, you're not going to be able to knock out guys when they're 25, 30. It's just not going to happen. And I mean, if you fall and you roll, and I don't know, I love Harrison Ford. I love his work in the past, but I think that I mean, there's a lot of actors that could play Indiana Jones. I mean, Tom Holland, he's one. Uh, Chris Pratt. There's a lot of guys out there that could fill that. When Disney first announced the new Indiana Jones film in 2016, with Spielberg directing and Ford starring, the studio originally slated the film to open on July 19, 2019. Then it was pushed a year to July 2020, and then delayed again to July 2021. They always want to release these movies during like 4th of July, right around there, because that's when everybody's home. People want to do stuff, so they're going to go to the movies. With a new director coming on board, the possibility that Indiana 5 will be pushed once more from its 2021 release seems likely. Hopefully not. I would like to see it. but it's got to be a good movie. This is already going to be a busy year for Spielberg, who's in post-production on his new version of the classic musical West Side Story, which Disney will release through 20th Century Studios. So, I don't know. We may need to, I don't know, we might have to wait another year, another two. And then lastly, I just caught this name. Anytime I see this dude's name, I gotta read it. Still, George Lucas, who co-created Indiana Jones with Spielberg, has retired and is not expected to be officially involved with Indy 5. Yes, thank you, God. I like George Lucas, the old George Lucas, but that guy is long gone. His ideas, his thought process is just wacky. So, yeah, he was the one that came up with the Crystal Skull idea. Yeah, that was George Lucas. If you look at the behind the scenes, the making of Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, George Lucas is quoted. He's on camera and he talks about he came up with that idea of having these glowing skulls, crystal skulls, and they summon the aliens. I mean, it's just weird. But thankfully, he's not going to be a part of it. Hopefully, with a fresh set of eyes and ideas, the Indiana Jones franchise will be rejuvenated or reborn. And I hope so because I love that character. But anyways, if you like listening to this, if you want to get future rants, reviews, or original content, click subscribe and hit that like button. Later.